We all say it. What's at stake? Everybody says in the hunt. Teams that are in the hunt, we don't. We say sniffing it.
Sniffing it.
Okay? I don't know who came up with, let's call the teams that are not division leaders and not current wild card holders. Everybody else on the outside looking in, on the bubble, trying to get in. Let's call them in the hunt.
Kind of made sense.
You know, I think they're just sniffing it. They're sniffing it. What they're sniffing is the playoffs. They're sniffing at a chance. They're sniffing around where they want to go. Right?
Well, you have hunt dogs, Rich, and they sniff things out.
She should get the
It's another way to look at it.
You know what I mean?
So what I have here are playoff clinching scenarios. I will let you, we're going to give you right here knowledge that is powerful for you and however you wish to use it for good. And tonight, the Tennessee Titans have a playoff clinching scenario. And they can clinch the AFC South with a win plus a Colts loss on Christmas against the Arizona Cardinals. Christmas night. They can clinch a playoff berth with a win tonight and a whole host of partridge in a pear tree scenarios. They win tonight and a playoff berth can be clinched by the end of the week with losses by, let's count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a combination of 6 teams. So the easiest path to the basket, beat the 49ers tonight and hope the Arizona Cardinals kind of wake up from their December slumber, their holiday season swoon, and break the 2-game losing streak and beat the Colts. If the Tennessee Titans do, in fact, win tonight, and the San Francisco 49ers do, in fact, lose tonight, what that does is put the Arizona Cardinals in a better position to clinch, and we'll get to that in a second, clinch a playoff spot for the Dallas Cowboys. You didn't think that was coming in your direction, did you, T.J. Jefferson?
Well, I pay attention to this stuff.
If the 49ers lose tonight, the Dallas Cowboys are in the playoffs. Boom. On the spot.
Oh.
And they can clinch the East Division title on Sunday night with a win on NBC. However, if the Giants should suddenly, do something and beat the Eagles earlier in the day in Philadelphia, that clinches the NFC East for the Cowboys on the spot too. So we're just going to assume the Philadelphia Eagles win that game. That would make a winner tie on Sunday Night Football, an NFC East championship for the Dallas Cowboys. However, again, tonight, if the Tennessee Titans win, Cowboys are in the playoffs. As for Arizona, San Francisco losing tonight does make things a little bit easier. It does set up 3 other playoff clinching scenarios for the Arizona Cardinals, who cannot clinch the division this week, but they can clinch a playoffs berth with a 49er loss. Now, again, there's 3 other scenarios that come into play. You combine the 49ers loss with a Saints loss on Monday Night Football, and Arizona could actually lose to the Colts, which is possible, and still get in the playoffs this week. There's a couple other scenarios that are on the screen for people who are seeing. I'll read it out. The Eagles loss, if the Giants win, plus the 49ers, Vikings, or Saints lose in addition, or if the Vikings lose to the Rams and the 49ers lose tonight, the Cardinals are in. But the bottom line is all they got to do is beat the Colts and they clinch a playoff berth in Week 16. Next up, the Rams. They can clinch a playoff berth. Yeah, the first playoff clinching scenario for the hometown Los Angeles Rams. All they got to do is beat the Vikings. They're in. Look at that. And or if the Eagles and the Saints lose, the Rams are in. But simple enough. Go to Minnesota on a short week after playing on a Tuesday and fly and hope no one else has COVID and you get more people off the list. And you go to Minnesota and you win. Whose house? A playoff house. Rams' house.
I'll take it.
They still have, obviously, a shot to win the division. They have the same record as the Arizona Cardinals now. And they'll be rooting for the Titans tonight to try and get the 49ers as further away as possible because the Niners are rampaging. The Bucs, look, they had a chance to clinch the division last week. They lost. And so it's the same scenario. Tampa Bay Buccaneers win. They clinch the NFC South. Same thing. And if the Saints lose on Monday Night Football, should the Buccaneers somehow, some way lose at Carolina, where they're, by the way, expected to get Antonio Brown back on the field. Maybe we see the debut of Le'Veon Bell and Pewter.
Hey.
Fighting Le'Veon.
Who'd have thought
Put that to the side for the
those
moment.
two are reunited. Who would have thunk it?
So, what, Brady and Le'Veon?
No, Bell and Brown.
Oh, that's right.
Bell and Brown.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Bell and Brown back together again. How about that happen? Well, we'll talk about that with James Harrison tomorrow. You think he might have 2 cents on the subject?
I think so.
2, 4,
Well,
maybe 10.
You never know. So the Bucks clinch the South that way. They can clinch a playoff berth with a handful of results that is sparked. The common denominator of those results is the Vikings have to lose. Go figure. That's why the NFL figures for you. The Kansas City Chiefs, who thankfully for a second straight day, no new COVID positive results. They're hoping to get some negative results in addition to the no new positives from people who have already popped as positive. Travis Kelce and also Tyreek Hill, to name a couple. They take on the Steelers. What a big-time game this is. If the Kansas City Chiefs simply win that game and they're in. They're in the playoffs. All I got to do is just win against Pittsburgh. They punch a playoff ticket. They can win the West, but they need the Texans to help out. In addition to beating the Steelers late in the day and late window on Sunday, they got to hope the Chargers go to Houston and get Davis Millsed and lose or tie. If they tie and the Chargers tie, I mean they got to put these scenarios out there. That's why the NFL figures this stuff out. But the Chiefs can be in, would be in the playoffs with a win. They could still win the division with a win and a Chargers loss on top of it. And then the last team, there are 7 teams that can clinch playoff spots. Remarkably, the Packers are the only ones to enter Week 16 knowing they're going to be playing deep into January. And as a matter of fact, they might not have to play a game until January 22nd or 23rd because they're in line for the bye week. So we've mentioned Tennessee, Dallas, Arizona, Rams, Bucks, Chiefs, playoff clinching scenarios. And the last team to be fortunate to have a playoff clinching scenario right in front of them in Week 16 are the New England Patriots.
Hey now.
And Tommy Curran will be joining us to talk about them. Here's the scenario. And here's the scenario. You remember yesterday we said all they got to do is beat the Bills and they win the AFC East. And you're like, well, the Dolphins can tie them. Remember you said that, TJ? Mm-hmm. That's why the NFL is pointing out that the Patriots can win the AFC East this week if they beat the Bills and the Dolphins then lose or tie on Monday Night Football. However, just a straight-up playoff clinching scenario. They punch a playoff ticket, whether home or on the road. Definitely this would just be just an on-the-roader because you haven't clinched the division yet. They could clinch a playoff berth if they beat the Bills and the Raiders and Chargers lose, or they beat the Bills and the Colts and Bengals or Chargers lose. And then there's a Colts, Ravens, and Steelers scenario and a Ravens, Browns, and Steelers scenario. The Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. And then the Browns are playing a Christmas late afternoon game in Green Bay. The Steelers, as we know, are taking on the Chiefs. So interestingly enough, the Patriots need a Colts loss, and part of that probably has to be that the Colts have a tiebreak on, even though they're just a game behind them. Those are your playoff clinching scenarios. Hope you're smarter for it. Like laying it all out there for you.
Made me smarter.
So I think, what do I think here? I think the Cardinals are, I don't know if they beat the Colts.
Yeah, I know, right?
I think the Cowboys are going to win the division. How does that sound?
I mean,
okay. And I think the Bucks are going to win their division. So that's one right there. And I think the Rams clinch a playoff spot. I think the Rams are going to go to Minnesota and win.
Ooh.
I'm kind of talking my way into maybe going the other way because it's just a short week, but Cooper Kupp is just unbelievable. I mean, the two best receivers in the NFL, you can make the argument are going to be on the field that day, and Justin Jefferson and Kupp, they're both Pro Bowlers.
They're both 1-2 in a lot of the categories.
It's just going to be a great game, a dynamite game. Yes, Matthew Stafford still can't quit the NFC North and vice versa. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.